Welcome to Transcendence Cinema. Welcome back to Transcendence Cinema. I'm your host, Greg, your local. This is not Greg, your local metalhead. This is Greg Durrance, and with me is
Victor Martin.
And you gave me Celebration, and usually I'm like, why did you give me this movie? But I want to take a crack at guessing why you gave me this movie.
Go
So
for it.
I don't think you gave it to me for the subject matter because it's a very disturbing subject matter. I think you gave it to me because of the Dogma 95 movement.
That's a great guess. Because for one, I didn't know what this movie was about. Besides, like very basic family gets together, something happens, some sort of bomb is dropped. But yes, the dogma aspect is something that I think I didn't know if you knew about. And
I did not know about until after this film.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. And that's just something I've been interested in for a while. So I was like, hey, let me just slide this your way and see what you think about it. Because for someone who hasn't seen a Dogma film, or it's very, very different stylist or style. The style is very strange and different.
Yes. As I was watching it, I was like, why does this feel so amateurish, but not at the same time?
Dude, yeah.
It was a very, very strange phenomenon that was going on.
Well, yeah, because it's like the writing and the characters and the acting is so like, it's, in my opinion, like pretty pitch perfect. It's pretty flawless. And so, yeah, mixed with the weird wide angle shots, like fisheye shots.
And the Dutch angles, oh my god, Dutch angles for days.
Plus you get, of course, like early digital video filmmaking and all handheld. Yeah, it's a very strange combination. Did you like that aspect of it?
Yes, and this is, at first I didn't. I was like, this feels like a 1990s music video, but shot as a movie. Like, it was very weird. It just had those, like, they're cliches now, but this was back in the 90s, so people were really experimenting with different styles, I guess.
Right.
So after realizing that it was a movement and they had all these rules that they had to follow, I actually like really embraced the movie and the style. And I was thinking about it today when I went to go pick up pizza, and it's kind of like when you're looking at a Basquiat or a Jackson Pollock. Like, it looks like a mess, but you don't hate it. You actually like enjoy looking at it. And I feel it's the same thing with this movie.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where you can like appreciate that they were doing something against the grain. And it's like, yeah, it might be kind of hard on the eyes or different, but it's like once you get a bit of like, you know, a bit about like the movement or the artist, it's like, oh, I see what they were going for. Kudos to them.
Right. The best thing for like, I talk about like or not that I talk about, but I hear about creatives is like, try to use as little as possible because it really pushes your creativity. And I feel this movement is really good for creativity.
Agreed. I mean, it is important to just sort of use what you have. And in this case, like, do you want me to go through the rules for people who aren't aware of it?
Oh, sure. If you have it pulled up, because I have it pulled up too, just in case.
Oh, well, me first.
Go for it.
So there are 10 rules for Dogma 95. Some of them have been, I mean, even the celebration, just, I don't know if you knew or other people, it's the first one,
Right.
part of this sort of movement. So rule number 1, shooting must be done on location. Props and sets must not be brought in. The sound must never be produced apart from the image or vice versa. The camera must be handheld. Any movement or immobility attainable in the hand is permitted. The film must be in color. Special lighting is not acceptable. Optical work and filters are forbidden. The film must not contain superficial action, which would be like murders, weapons, Temporal and geographical alienation are forbidden. Needs to take place here and now, essentially. Genre films not acceptable. Film format must be Academy 35, and the director must not be credited. But like I said before, a lot of these things have been bent and broken, and even this first film wasn't shot on 35, shot on video.
I was gonna say that. I was like, this feels like a home video camera.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I realized it was whenever there was a zoom on the father. I was like, this is a home video
Yeah.
camera.
Oh, right. I know. Like even all these like shots of the families, it just feels like this is just someone's family reunion. They just like shot on video and just submitted it to the Cannes Film Festival.
But with this film, I think it works in its favor because it makes it feel kind of like a documentary. Not necessarily a documentary, but like, you know how when people have like weddings or whatever, you have the videographer that's like videoing the whole thing to document it for the people later. That's what it feels like.
You're right. And I think it kind of too takes away any sort of like superficial drama
Mm-hmm.
and theatrics. It's very like you kind of said, it kind of feels like a documentary or someone's home footage.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it even more just in your face.
Yeah.
There's no I don't know, no glitter, no glam. It's just like straight to the point filmmaking.
Right. Yeah, I even said, I was like, "Why is there no color grading? Like, why is it so saturated?" Like, it was driving me crazy because I was pointing out all these things, but I could like I knew I felt it was a good movie, if that makes sense. Like, there
Yeah.
is some talent behind this, but there's so many flaws that they can't be done, by accident.
Yeah.
So, it was a super interesting watch, especially not knowing any of that going into it.
That must have been totally confusing.
It really was. I was like, why is this look so amateur, but I don't hate it. So yeah. Um I didn't know if you wanted to get into like the actual subject matter of the movie because I don't know if that's like important.
Well, I mean, I guess it probably helped to go into like what it's about.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, so basically, it is the father of this family's 60th birthday, and he is having a very huge celebration. And get the family together. Things seem to be going smooth, nothing out of the ordinary. Besides, there's talk of a sister who had passed away and suicide and stuff like that. So I mean, it's not totally cheery in the beginning, but it's things seem to be going smoothly up until all of a sudden, um, one of the brother characters, let me get his name, character named Christian, brings up some very disturbing news about his father, basically saying how he was sexually abused by the father, and yeah, that's kind of where the film takes
Yeah.
takes a left turn.
I thought you were like punking me because I told you I watched Climax. And I was like, man, that was a fucking hard watch. And I figured you were like, oh, you think that was hard? Here's another one for you.
Dude, I didn't even know. I didn't know where this movie was going to go. I tried to like not look into this movie just because.
Oh, so you didn't watch this either.
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is first.
I see.
All I saw was the very basic description. It's like, that sounds interesting. That sounds like something I don't want to like read too much about, or I'm going to spoil it for myself.
Right.
And I'm glad I didn't because, damn, this is such a dark movie. This is like pitch black comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's
Yeah, the director said he didn't intend for it to be comedic, but you have the brother Michael, which is so like outlandish. It does
oh
come
my
off as
god,
kind of comedic.
for sure. It's sprinkled throughout. It's not like overtly comedic, but there's just some things in there that are kind of funny. But it's definitely, you won't be laughing throughout it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So I didn't know if this was like a culture barrier thing, but the part that made me most uncomfortable is everyone dismissing him. Like
Yeah.
he's saying all these horrific things and they're like, "Oh, you're crazy. You're drunk or whatever." And they were just dismissing, and that made me more uncomfortable than him giving that speech.
Yeah, for the collective to just be dismissive of it or just or
Mhm.
be confused but still just go on. It's kind of like relevant still in the sense of like victims telling their story and then a lot of like lash or again, like uh met with, argument or disbelief. And so yeah, that aspect you're just like, why is no one taking this seriously?
Right. But
It's
I didn't know if that was like a culture thing, like people
hmm,
overseas, like if you bring that kind of stuff up, you're dismissed a lot more than you would be over in America.
good
But
question. I'm not too sure.
but either way, it was still uncomfortable as shit, and they didn't realize it was true until the sister finds the letter, and then the other girl, Pia finds it
Right, right.
and then reads it aloud, and it's her basically confirming what Christian was saying.
Yeah, it takes no one believes what Christian is saying until her sister or his sister who committed suicide basically
Mhm.
confirms this um and then everyone's like, "Oh, shit." And, like it takes someone to die for the truth to be like accepted. And I mean, obviously it's like a hard thing for if this was brought up in the real world, obviously to be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like but yeah, and then everyone starts to understand and yeah, it's doesn't not much really happens after that point. It's sort of a lot
No,
of
they basically say like the father knows he can't show his face anymore. He's like, I know this is the last time I'm gonna see all of you, and then the movie kind of ends.
yes.
So, but anyway, got that hard storyline out of the
Or-
way.
yeah, it's
But
very yeah, sorry, go on.
no, I was just gonna say, but that doesn't really matter. Like, it's a hard story and whatever. But it's just like the creative visuals is really where this movie shines. Because I loved this movie, like watching it.
Oh
Like
good.
once I just kind of like let the the stuff wash over me, I was like, you
Hmm.
know what? This is just how this movie is. And then I just like kind of accepted it, and I just loved it.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know what to expect from like what your opinion would be, but
Hmm.
yeah, I'm happy to hear you really liked it.
I did. So this whole, do you know more about this Dogma 95? Is there like more to say on it or anything? Because I'm like new. I just researched this like today. So
Um, I mean, it was. I mean, other than like it being a sort of counter culture movement against like studios and like big budget films, Lars von Trier was one of the co-founders of it, along with Thomas Vinterberg. Which Lars, I think, will need to cover one of his films someday. Have you seen any of his work?
I have not seen it, but I know of it enough.
Okay. um, yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to say. It was a short lived movement. I see here on Wikipedia 95 to 2005.
Yeah.
Um, and
Did you
just
watch
something.
any of the other ones?
So I've seen Julian Donkey Boy, which is by Harmony Korine,
Hmm.
um, Spring Breakers
Oh my
classic.
god.
Yeah.
I have a very mixed feeling about him in that movie.
Oh, I thought you liked.
No, I did.
Oh,
The first time I sat down and watched it,
mhm.
didn't like it, but then it just kind of like sat with me, and I would like, I don't know why I felt the need to like go against the movie. Like, no, you don't like that. I was like, yeah, but you can't stop thinking about it. but that part was so good and the visuals were so good. And there was that one part and I was like, shut up. It wasn't a good movie.
It's definitely one of those movies where you're just like, there's no way I like this.
Exactly.
There's no way I should. It's so
But
dumb. And then you're like,
and I learned to
wait a minute.
accept it. I was like, I just like Spring Breakers. It's a great movie.
Embrace it.
Yes, I did. One day I just embraced it. I want to buy it and rewatch it and everything. So
Hell yeah. I'm happy to hear that. That's
yeah,
such a hated movie.
it is.
But like I said, I've only seen Julian Donkey Boy, and that's another one that it's fantastic, but it's shot in the same handheld video style, a lot more avant-garde. But yeah, I haven't gotten into the other ones. I
But
actually
how
haven't
many?
heard of all of them.
Oh, it makes me want to go back and like rewatch all of them because there's what 31. It
That's
says.
correct. Yep.
Yeah. So, but Harmony Korine, he's a well-known director, but I don't think I've seen a lot of his films outside of Spring Breakers.
Yeah. Definitely recommend like Gummo.
Mm-hmm.
They're all very movies about sort of, I wouldn't want to say degenerates, but just a very strange group of people. I mean, Spring Breakers,
Yeah.
even his newest one with Matthew McConaughey, whatever the fuck it's called. Just, I don't know.
Oh, Beach Bum.
Beach Bum, yes. Just characters you're like, I don't know about you. Something's
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
But definitely start with Gummo if you want to like get into like his early stuff.
yeah. I'm gonna have to check that out because I'm not very familiar with his work, but his name gets brought up constantly.
For sure. But like other than that, yeah, Dogma 95, it's pretty straightforward for the most part.
Mm,
It's something that I would like to attempt to do. Obviously not like, I mean,
that's strict.
I would like to, I mean, it'd be kind of cool to do something as strict as like the original rules.
Yeah,
It's just, I don't know. I like the sort of counterculture stuff like New Wave and French New Wave, stuff like that. I think it's just fairly cool for people to just say, you know what, I'm going to purposefully say fuck you to like the big boys and try something extreme or different.
right. That's the stuff I love coming across too. Is I get so burnt out from like the Hollywood movies. And
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like, I just want something weird. Like, I just give me something weird. Like when I watched Climax, and then I was like, this is too much. Not this weird. Not this bad.
Not
Let's
yet.
reel it back a little bit.
Right. You went way too deep,
I
like
did.
way too early on.
Yeah, but I do love this. We should totally like revitalize Dogma 2025.
Oh, so down. But I just think it's cool because like you have a script here that's so, um, just so like grounded and lived in. Like it feels like an actual family. And the drama is so real. And then to have like that sort of amateur camera work, it's just such a weird combination. But it's just it makes that amateur stuff like I wouldn't say amateur, but it makes it like what am I trying to say?
Well, I was thinking about it today, and
Mhm.
it's like the marrying of um where someone has mastered their craft, but they're also marrying it with their intuition. And I don't know, just you have that technical skill and you have these limitations, but you kind of use your gut to go along with your creative, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
And it's just cool what people can come up with because no matter how limited you make somebody, if they have that technical ability, they're always going to shine through.
Very true.
Like if you told somebody to make the same movie and gave them $20 million, it's and they have less skill than Thomas does, it's still going to be a lesser film because he's so talented and creative with this like limited rule book or this stringent rule book.
Yeah,
And
it makes the primitive aspects feel, I guess, forgivable in a sense.
mhm,
Like you can see that he has the talent to make a incredibly compelling screenplay.
mhm. Yeah,
And
there were just like little parts in it whenever the dad and the son were talking and he was shooting through a crowd of people
mhm,
and but you could still hear them talking, because they're mic'd up or whatever.
right.
But it's just a cool shot. Like it feels so like you said lived in. And I don't know, just he had a lot of really cool creative style choices that I was like, "Man, that's interesting." I guess
Yeah,
the whole thing I was trying to figure out, was this amateur or was this somebody that knows what they're doing, just didn't have a lot of money?
you see, that's I hate using the word amateur because it's like definitely not. It's just, I mean, I think when you this old school video,
Mhm.
it's. I think it looks great, but like I think you know, objectively, it is so aged.
Yeah.
And of course, when you mix it with handheld, it's like, what the hell? So
Mhm.
like, it definitely. I think the rules just that's just what it's going to do. It's going to make it feel like someone's first film.
Right, right.
But it's just obviously the artist behind it is
Mhm.
going to, elevate it. And thank God it does.
Definitely. Yeah, it was definitely a interesting watch, and I really enjoyed it, and I don't have a lot to compare with it because I don't think there's a lot of like, I liked Darren Aronofsky. His
Mhm,
earlier work was kind of the same way, like, Pi.
mhm.
That's one reason I really enjoyed that movie because it just felt very like, I don't have a lot of money, but I still really wanna make this movie, and he has the talent to kinda back it up.
Yes.
Um, but,
And I think, yeah, I think too with budget was also a problem because he didn't shoot on film,
mhm,
which would have been, the part of the rules, but I'm sure that would have cost a lot more
mhm.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it shows it's a good testament to people that want to get into film, like, you don't need a lot to make a film. This guy just had a handheld camera and a lot of people and a house, and he made a very compelling film.
I think that should be inspiring to new filmmakers. It's like it's just showing again that story, theme, characters are just it's the most important part.
Mhm,
That you can
100%.
make a film on a digital video camera handheld and it still be like critically praised and yeah, you don't need it doesn't need to look good.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We've barely talked on the movie, but I don't know. Do you have like much more to say about the film itself?
Not really on the film. That's just the subject matter was so uncomfortable that I didn't wanna, like, sink too deep into it because it's just an uncomfortable subject matter.
That's fair. That's fair. My bad.
No, no, no. It's fine. But I'm glad there was so much more to this. Like, once I started doing the research on the Dogma 95, it really, like, opened my eyes to something I didn't really even know about,
It's a whole
and
new rabbit hole for you.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna sink my teeth into a lot more of these movies. Yeah, I wish there were more movements like this. I wish there were more people just trying to make, like, weird, just I don't know.
Especially like I don't know, recently. I can't think of any like new movements. Like I mean, you have like mumblecore stuff, like really like, low budget indie. Um I don't know though. I can't think of any like
No,
maybe
not
it just
really.
maybe it hasn't been long enough.
We're overdue for, like, a really good movement creatively. You know what I want a movement
Hmm.
of? I've been thinking about this a lot lately
What's that?
because I'm into graphic design, and I feel like graphic design isn't respected by, certain type of artists, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Like they don't take graphic design like serious as like real art.
Like
And
digital
yeah, digital art.
art and stuff.
Yeah, and I want there to be like a digital art movement where like I was thinking about how they have these art galleries full of like things that people have created like paintings, sculptures or whatever.
Mhm.
I was like, what if we could do the same thing but with digital art? Like
Like
there's a
specifically
physical
for.
place you could go to and you can display people's like digital art. Like they could take their thumb drives and upload their art to all these plaques on the wall and you could enjoy digital art in a physical way.
Yeah, I really like that because I mean, sometimes that sort of stuff is like sprinkled into like contemporary art galleries.
Mhm.
But I mean, at least where I'm located, I can't think of any sort of galleries or shows that have been specifically for graphic art, and it is something that I feel like a lot of traditional artists kind of mock because obviously, I mean, you're not using your hand. I mean, you're using your hand, but like,
Mhm.
there's no paper, there's no canvas, but doesn't make it
Right.
any less challenging. It's still like you need skill to make good digital art.
Exactly. You can't look at Beeple and tell me that dude is not an artist.
People,
Beeple.
people.
You know the guy that sold the most expensive um digital art recently? He's the one
No
that brought up the whole, oh my god, I can't think of the name of it. What's the name of the where you buy digital art?
NFTs.
NFT, yes. He sold the most expensive NFT.
Oh, I didn't know
It wa
that.
Yeah, it was 11 years where he posted on Instagram every day for 11 years. He made it into a huge collage and sold it for like millions of dollars.
Oh, I see it right here.
Yeah.
69 million.
So yeah, $69 million.
Holy shit.
So that guy Beeple, he uploads graphic work every day. And if you look at his work, you're like, that guy is a serious artist. And it makes me mad when people turn their nose up to digital art.
Yeah, this stuff is so surreal and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, holy, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's a crazy guy. Um, but yeah, that's the kind of movement I want. I want a digital art movement where it's recognized in the high arts.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has more of a chance than like, say, the AI generated stuff,
Yeah. Oh
which
my
right
god.
now is, that's going to be getting a lot of backlash lately. Um,
I really enjoyed it at first because I feel it's like a creative tool.
mhm,
It's like this AI can put these pictures together in a way that you couldn't, and then you take that and then you turn it into something, more tangible.
right.
But people are using the AI art as if like they created it, and it is flooding the digital art space.
Dude, yeah.
And it's becoming kind of a cancer.
Yeah. It's become, I mean, that's just the problem with it being so easy to use. It's like people will say like, "Oh, I'm a prompt artist." And it's like, okay,
I think my eyes
I
rolled out of the back of my head.
I it's like I get it cuz it's like sometimes it really helps knowing how to create a prompt, but
Mhm.
dude, do not act like you are doing any sort of heavy lifting like.
Exactly.
And so I think this sort of stuff, like what Beeple's doing or any other graphic designer, graphic artist, whatever, has more of a shot than the NFTs or the AI stuff, even though I still think that's going to be a huge movement.
Yeah.
It's just, it's definitely making people uncomfortable. I think for good reasons. And
Hmm.
um I don't know. Like you said, you're kind of having fun with it in the beginning.
Yeah.
So was I, and I'm sort of the novelty of it sort of died off for me.
Right. And you said it perfectly on one of our podcasts. It doesn't have that human touch.
Yeah, there's
Like
no soul.
everything is so cool to look at, but it's just missing that human touch. And yeah, it's missing its soul. And
I
yeah.
plus I just hate seeing the stuff that's like like I don't know. People be like you know, cyberpunk woman trending on ArtStation. It's like, yep, you're the 6,000th person to do that. Good job.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is like nobody's really creating anything interesting that I've seen so far. It's like you can create some like cool stuff, some scenery or whatever.
Yeah,
And I like it as like a jumping off point to create
right.
something yourself.
I
But
think that people there's not enough like graphic artists like you. Like you could definitely insert AI art into like your workflow, and I think that would be like really sick.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But not enough people do that sort of work, so it's just going to be straight out of like Mid Journey or whatever, and
Yeah, because
that's that.
I went on DeviantArt and it's just like a cancer right now, and it's
Oh
like
no,
man standing on moon with purple sky. Oh, look at this art. I was like, out of here.
right on. You heard about the AI art piece that won in like a fine art competition at a fair?
I saw it, but I didn't look into it. Is there
Yeah.
like some backlash about it?
Oh yes. No one was happy about that. I mean, he won in like the fine arts category for his Mid-Journey image, which he's like, I spent hundreds of hours on this prompt, thousands of iterations, and I'm like, dude, so why?
You could have literally taken that same painting or that same AI digital art and painted it and won. Like
Right?
at least you did some of the heavy lifting. Like you actually put your brush to paper. Like, and I would have
Exactly.
respected that a lot more than just generating it and then submitting it.
Even your digital your toothbrush, digital fucking paintbrush would have been any sort of paintbrush.
Yeah, just creating it yourself, using that as like a prompt as your like as your jumping off point and then doing it yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's yeah, I don't know. It's cool. Whatever. Fine. I hope it's just a mistake they have once and then they realize, oh, that was stupid.
Yeah.
It's-
I am curious to see how that's going to turn out. I think it's going to die off eventually. It's just really cool and fancy and new, so we need AI generated movies now.
See, as much as I hate that, I think that also I just think that'd be so interesting.
Oh, 100%.
But
Because they've done that with music now. They have AI generated music and they have avatars for the music as a stand-in for the quote unquote musician. Uh, the internet's weird, man.
it's so strange and it's going way too fast.
It is. I was thinking that too. I'm like, I can't keep up with the internet anymore.
No, and I especially those AI stuff, it's like, dude, it wasn't even this good like at the beginning of the year. It was still so primitive.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah, I saw a piece today that was like super detailed. Like it was like a skull with like some tentacles coming out of the bottom. I was like, that's scary detailed.
yeah. But I it's like Dogma 95, like any other movement. It's going against the grain.
Mhm.
It's sort of like bastardizing and doing something completely offensive, and like in that aspect I like it. But
Oh yeah, I'm all
oh,
about upsetting the establishment, but I also want people to put into work.
exactly.
You know, I don't
And
want them to lazily just piss people off. It's kind of like just
right,
starting fights on the internet for no
exactly.
reason.
if you're just gonna take it out of Midjourney and then make it an NFT and try to sell it for like $500, I'm like, just fuck off. You're stupid.
Yeah, make a controversial painting that gets everyone upset. Something you created, something that, came from your mind, not some AI generated thing.
Exactly.
See, that's what I'm all for.
Okay.
I just want people to put in the work.
Put in the hours and take what's
Yeah, put in
ours.
the
Yep.
hours, put in the work. Not a prompt. Pick up a brush, pick up your digital brush, make some artwork, pick up a camera. Because I'm
And
all
it,
about upsetting the establishment.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah,
And that's all that to say we need more art movements.
we do. I know.
And that's
We need to start a because you inspire me to do more like short films, but I don't even know where to begin. And it's just me. Like nobody around here really does anything with them, so it'll just be me and my camera. So and I guess that's all you need. But
right, but it makes it extremely difficult.
yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, the way I work with, I mean, I know people around me that work in film, but I'm very introverted and um, I just have an easier time working by myself. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that you have to learn about yourself. Like, okay, what can I do to like have this be like a pro? Like,
Mhm.
this is a good thing that I'm working alone. But
Yeah.
yeah, like when you're like want to make like legit short films, like, dude, it's hard.
Mhm. And so, I'm just curious about your work because I know you recently just got recognized for your recent short film, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It doesn't feel real, but I'm into
Right.
it.
It never does. But are you just going to keep on the short film avant-garde thing, or are you trying to progress to would you like it to be a bigger thing? I mean, I guess everyone does. So,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, after this one, I sort of want to like take a break with like the avant-garde stuff.
hmm
Like because we kind of talked about like it seemed like I kept getting drawn to like topics of death and time and this and that, the fun stuff.
hmm
And I was like, cool. I don't. Let's just try something else out. So I think after this, I don't have anything else planned. I have nothing else I'm working on, which uh hasn't been. I've been constantly working on something since like almost a year ago, last year.
hmm
So I'm taking a break, and I would really like to do something more. I don't know. I'd like to try a feature, not experimental either. Like I would like to have something with like an actual script,
hmm
but still do something that personally I think would be awesome. Like like this dogma stuff. I love like Linklater's films. I love movies that are just like fucking talking for 90 minutes. So I'd still like to do something that's different, but isn't just me on my computer for like 40 hours. And I like to make something real.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Have you ever seen Lock with Tom Hardy?
No, I haven't seen that one.
That's a pretty good one. I would definitely check it out because it's just him in a car answering his phone, but it keeps you engaged that whole time. So
That
it
is
can
so
definitely
hard to
be like
do.
inspirational.
I'll have to check that out. I like those like single location sort of films. It's like
Yeah.
it's pure, like so much restriction. So that's like super commendable.
hmm Yeah.
Um,
A lot of people didn't like it, but I really enjoyed it, and they don't realize like how much talent there is to be able to do something so simple and to make it compelling.
I'm sure the biggest complaint is that it's boring,
Yeah,
and those people are we've talked about boring as such a bad word.
it is. It's just a very lazy word. Um, but oh, yeah. We need to get on that movement, but I don't have a whole lot more to say about the movie or any other movements.
Yeah, I see. And this is something I wish I was more like engaged with, like certain movements and stuff. I haven't done. I haven't had enough exposure to like a lot of these sort of like underground filmmakers and you know, their contemporaries and stuff like that. Like, I'm not too familiar with this movement. Like the
It's
French
definitely
New Wave stuff.
well
Sorry.
on your way to learn about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I just sort of started getting to Godard, who just passed away recently, with like the
Mhm,
French New Wave stuff.
mhm.
It's all just, you know, it's interesting. There's just so much history to film. It's just overwhelming.
You know, we might do a Tarkovsky movie next.
I would love to. I have not
Kinda
seen one yet.
do dive into his stuff because I did Stalker on Orbital Cinema, so I'll have to pick one of his other ones for us to talk about. But that way we can, like, crack into his films a little bit, get into that little art movement of his.
I would love to. Yeah, I just own one of them. I
Stalker.
own soccer. Yeah, but uh, yeah, dude, definitely pick one someday. I would love to. Um, yeah, as let me see if I had anything else to say. Yeah, I don't know. Family secrets. That's probably not something we want to dive into on a public podcast, but
You know what's funny? My family doesn't have a lot of secrets, just half of them are just really shitty,
see,
and then the other half are just really good.
yeah, I don't really have, as far as I know, my family's pretty fine. Like, of course, I have some family members who they've got some opinions that are very old school when it comes to like LGBT, uh, um, stuff like that. Like, I would love to do what Christian did and be like, I have a very particular family member who is uh, outcast someone in his own family because he's gay.
Mhm.
And I would love to just call him out on a Thanksgiving dinner. But other than that, family's pretty good.
Yeah, I have a lot of them too. We don't that's just strictly we don't talk about politics at dinner, family.
That's a hard one for a lot of families, and that was a hard one for my family too for a while.
It was really funny, a couple I think this is, like, the 2nd year Trump was in office. My wife's grandpa was gonna say something, everyone was like, "No, you do not bring that up. We're gonna have a nice dinner."
Yeah,
They, like, shut him down. I was actually pretty impressed.
that's good.
Like, it's I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. Like, they would rather have a good time with each other than, like, ruin that with fucking other people's politics.
Yeah, because you can see how easily that shit like creates tension. I
Mhm.
mean, even from my own experience, like having like debates with like my own dad or like about like this when like the BLM stuff was happening. It's like, what are we doing? Like, what? Let's just like shut up and be like, I don't know, not. Yeah, it's crazy how politics can ruin people,
Yeah,
and I think with the whole Trump stuff and that is giving people brain rot.
yeah, 100%, and
Like,
they're paying attention to the wrong things. If you're
exactly,
letting these stupid people rule your life and rule your head, like, you're losing track of what life is really about. But,
exactly.
it did give me, like I was thinking about the movie, The Celebration. So, after he gave his speech, the son gave his speech, the cook knew about it, right?
Hmm.
He, like, kinda knew what was going on. He's like, "You still haven't won the battle. You still need to finish what you started," kinda thing. So the cook takes everyone's keys, and I didn't know where this was gonna go. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Do you want him to kill him?" Like, I mean, I'm down for it, like, let's do this, but and I just thought it was pretty interesting. Was he just supposed to give out his whole speech or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
That
I think
part
he
was kind of
just
like weird to me.
yeah, I think he just wanted everyone to hear it because I
Yeah.
think the waitress knew, and then the cook knew about it.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it was just make sure no one leaves because people need to hear this and not let it slide by.
Yeah. Don't be dismissive. I guess
Right.
like keep saying it until they realize you're telling the truth.
Exactly.
I
I think
see.
that was just main point of that.
Mm. Yeah. I just thought it was pretty funny. I was like, are we gonna kill him? Let's do it. Let's fucking take him out. Take this old man
Right.
out.
I know. I thought the son was going to do that when he was kicking his ass out in the yard.
I did like that character arc because at the beginning, Michael is an asshole. You're like, fuck this dude. And then by the end of it, you're like, good on you, Michael. Like you're standing up for your brother and your sister.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
I,
because
I thought that was a really cool arc.
I agree because he was such an unlikable character. Like the thing about I was just watching this. I was like, this is the most dysfunctional family I've seen on film. Like it's just oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like his character. I like that he sort of takes side with his brother and his sister. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a hard watch, but I definitely think it's an essential. I don't know.
I think
I
so
don't know.
too. This is one of those movies like I won't recommend Climax to a lot of people besides
Right.
people like us. But this is one of those ones like it's a hard watch, but I think you should watch it. Like it's a good movie. Like there's a lot here.
Yeah,
Cuz it also goes back to people with power just being able to do what they want to do because that's another thing I was thinking about is those people they might have believed what his son was saying.
mhm,
But the dad is so like rich and powerful, they're like willing to just let it go. And that's another fucked up part of our society too.
exactly. It's showing that um, everyone talks about the patriarchy, but
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it the rich and powerful, it's just something they can get away with. And
Mhm.
so I do like the story of someone saying, I'm going to risk it all to just let it all out
Mhm.
and spill my family's secrets. I think that's just like still holds relevancy this many years later. It's not like I don't think this is the first film to do it, but it's just unfortunate that this sort of stuff is like, oh yeah, in 2022 or like during the Me Too movement, like, oh yeah, that's still the sort
Still
of dynamic is still here.
and it's never going to go away, but we do need people to keep speaking up on it. And
Exactly.
anytime somebody's stepping out of line, speak up because there's no reason for that.
Yeah, I agree. It's like just so hard and brave to do, but like, damn, it's just important that yeah, if something's happened,
Mhm.
you got to speak out. And even to this day, like I'll see like people speaking out against certain artists, and people are like, oh well, you waited too long. Why would you wait so long? Blah 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 blah. It's just like, oh my god.
Or it's like I tried telling you and you weren't listening.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then in this film's case, someone kills themselves because of it,
Yeah.
and it takes until that for them to say, oh wait, shit, okay,
Yeah, it takes someone to lose their life for you to pay attention to what's going on. Yeah, it's really sad because that happens more than we would like to admit.
exactly.
But
And as the saying goes, uh, uh, says a lot about society.
100%, yeah. This movie, like you said, even coming out in 1998, is still relevant today.
And I think that's showing yeah, just proves that this artist and
Mhm.
just this sort of skill on
Yep,
display.
100%.
It's just great to see an old film not feel aged with its story. It's just like I don't know, something
Yeah.
I like.
I don't know. Do you do physical media?
What do you mean?
Do you buy physical media, collect
Oh,
it, or anything like
uh,
that?
I do.
Oh, well, they have a criterion of this.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, I was gonna buy it and have it in my little collection, so I could have it because it's definitely worth pulling out every once in a while.
Oh,
And
I've seen this. Yeah, it has the orange. Have you seen the packaging of it?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Super minimalist. I think it has like
yeah,
the dogma instructions in it or whatever.
yeah. It's super cool. I'm gonna start buying up these little movies, these Dogma movies. I'm watching them.
I'm so glad you're getting into it. It's cool that you're wanting to get into these art films. It's so enriching and satisfying.
Hmm.
It's like you could see it as like pointless, but like I guess like getting into art. It's such like a I don't know, I think a lot of people look down on just like art and culture, but it's just part of like the human experience.
I think
It's here and it's helpful. It's I don't know. I sometimes I have to like battle that with myself. I'm like, even being a filmmaker, I'm just like, what is the point of this? But I have to remember like there's a reason for it. It speaks to people. It helps people feel less alone. I think that's just like at the end of the day, that's enough.
it's beautiful.
Bingo.
Beauty of life. Yeah, because I've been so I never saw myself as getting into like art history or anything like that, like painters and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But in the past few years, I've really like delved into it. And the part that's daunting is it's so massive, you don't know where to start. But one thing that I notice is like find a piece of art that you kind of connect with. You don't know why, but you just do. And then follow that artist and get into their work, their life's work, and then come across another piece that you like and delve into them. I think that's the one thing that people struggle with is like it's just so massive they don't know where to start.
Agreed. I have that's one of my biggest problems with like paintings and like art like that. It's like I'll see stuff I would like, but 9 times out of 10, I have no idea who the painter is. It's just like following art like that is for me is so daunting.
It is. It's very
But like you
daunting.
said, find an artist that you like and just sort of stick with them for a second. Sort of follow their career and then go on to the next one.
Yeah, live in that artist's shoes for a minute. Like I was on a basketball kick for a minute and I really just like I felt like I got to know him on a personal level
Hmm.
through his art and through what he had to go through in his life. And I don't know.
That's I was the same way with David Lynch,
Yeah.
and then I kind of fell out of like getting super into his work and stuff because I've seen like basically all of it.
Hmm. Yeah, he
Um,
doesn't have like the biggest filmography.
no, he's got a lot of short films though, which I
Yeah.
haven't seen all of. But yeah, I think for anyone who wants to get into like art history, just like pick a couple that you like in particular, and just sort of follow them, and then sort of branch off from there.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
same
mean,
with like films like this whole Dogma
yeah,
95 movement. Like it's a nice little movement and I'm gonna get into it and watch all these little films and just explore them. And then I'm probably gonna go back and rewatch these directors because like the celebration was done by Thomas Vinterberg and he
mhm.
also did The Hunt, which I bought, but I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay.
It's sitting on my shelf.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
I've
to
heard
check
that
that
one's
out just because I loved Celebration so much. I'm gonna check that out.
heard that one's great. You should watch. After that, you should watch Another Round.
I heard that was good.
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorites when it came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not heavy like this film. I mean,
Mm,
it kind of is deals with like alcoholism and stuff like that, but nothing like the celebration deals with.
mm.
Much more like a positive, cathartic ending and stuff like that. So,
Well, I'm a huge Mads Mikkelsen fan, even though I can't say his name. Have you seen Hannibal?
No, dude.
Oh my god.
I don't have cable, and so
I'll mail you the DVDs.
I heard it's great.
It is fantastic, and he is the best part of that whole. I mean, the writing is the best part, but he's the close second.
I see it's on Hulu, so I might.
It's only 3 seasons. Definitely worth a watch because it has some very artistic moments in it that I think you would appreciate.
Okay, I'm out. I have a hard time getting into TV, but I will do my best
I
to
mean, if you're looking
try
for
it
something
out.
to watch and you're like, I don't know what we should watch. Oh, Greg said, we should check out, Hannibal. So we'll put that on.
Because you recommended, I will put it up on my TV priority list.
I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. It's a very, very, very
Oh,
good
I believe
show.
you. I believe you.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, I don't have much more. Do you?
No, I think that's about it. This is the scary thing about picking films you've never seen before for a podcast. It's like, oh my god, will there be enough to talk about?
Yeah, I've done it a few times on War with Cinema. I learned
Yeah.
my lesson.
Which makes
But-
the process even more challenging. It's like, oh god, this one doesn't sound like it's going to be enough. This one sounds like it's going to be too much.
Yeah. That was the problem with Waking Life. I'm like, oh my god, there's too much here.
Yeah.
But I wasn't disappointed at all. Like, this was a very, very good pick. It may not be a lot to sink our teeth into, but I was very pleasantly surprised with this.
I'm very glad, man. Do you want to go into final thoughts and ratings, or?
Oh yeah. Final thought, I think it's a very diamond in the rough movie. And rating, God, where do I put this? 8.5? Yeah, 8.5 feels good.
I think that's your highest rating on the Transcendent Cinema
Oh yeah?
yet, or
All right.
maybe you gave Waking Life a high score. I don't remember. So far, it's been lows, but or mid scores. But
Mid
glad,
scores.
good, glad to hear. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. Look at what the powerful are able to sweep under the rug, and the importance of victims speaking out against abuse, and yeah, and the relevancy is startling. So if you want to watch a film with a great script, definitely check this one out. And yeah, I give it a 4 out of 5. I don't know if it's one I ever need to like revisit. I feel like I got most out of it that I could. But it's great. Yeah, I give it a 4 out of 5.
I mean, I would revisit it on a like technical level. Like, because there's so many
Yes,
good shots in here. Like the way he was able to use that camera creatively was really, really good.
I agree. I think if I was to do like any sort of like research for my own projects, this would definitely be one I would go back to, because yeah, as shoddy as the camera work could be viewed, like
Mhm.
looked at, I think it's awesome. It's brilliant. It's super innovative.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, that's
Well,
my
I'm gonna
thoughts.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying that's the end of my discussion.
Well, I'm gonna pick out a movie from that guy that I was talking about. I can't think of his name now.
Tarkovsky.
Tarkovsky.
Right.
I'll pick one of his movies and we'll do that next time on Transcendence. But until next time, later.
Later. Bye.